Psalm 110:1. Who is David's Lord? The Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Psalm 110:1. This verse, one of the most quoted in the New Testament, has captivated theologians for centuries. Who is David's Lord that Yahweh, the Lord, speaks to? How can there be two Lords? Let's delve into the meaning of Psalm 110:1 and challenge skeptics and non-believers to explain its profound implications. 1. The context of Psalm 110. Psalm 110 is a messianic psalm written by King David under divine inspiration. It speaks of a future king and priest who will sit at God's right hand, a position of power and authority. Yahweh speaks. The phrase, "The Lord says to my Lord," is a direct statement from Yahweh to another figure referred to as my Lord. Royal imagery. The psalm portrays this Lord as ruling and defeating enemies, establishing his eternal reign. Challenge. If God is strictly Unitarian, how can he speak to another Lord who shares his authority? 2. Who is David's Lord? The phrase, my Lord, Hebrew Adonai, denotes a figure of great authority, yet distinct from Yahweh. Not just a human king. While some argue this refers to a descendant of David, the figure in Psalm 110:1 is portrayed as sitting at God's right hand, a role no earthly king can fulfill. Jesus as my Lord. The New Testament identifies this Lord as Jesus Christ, who sits at the right hand of God. Hebrews 1:3, Matthew 22:44. Challenge. How do skeptics explain the identity of this Lord, if not Jesus, given his unique position in the New Testament? 3. Jesus and Psalm 110. Jesus himself uses Psalm 110:1 to reveal his divine identity. Matthew 22:41-46. Jesus asks the Pharisees, if David calls him Lord, how can he be his son? This question highlights that the Messiah is more than just a descendant of David. He is divine. Acts 2:34-36. Peter quotes Psalm 110:1 at Pentecost, declaring that Jesus is the Lord who has been exalted to God's right hand. Hebrews 1:13. The writer of Hebrews uses Psalm 110:1 to demonstrate Jesus' superiority over angels. Challenge. If Jesus is not divine, how can he fulfill the role of my Lord described in Psalm 110:1? 4. The right hand of God. In biblical terms, sitting at God's right hand signifies ultimate authority, power, and favor. Divine authority. The figure in Psalm 110:1 is given authority over all creation, fulfilling a role that only God can occupy. Eternal reign. Unlike human kings, this Lord reigns eternally, defeating all enemies and establishing God's kingdom. Challenge. How can skeptics reconcile this divine authority with a purely human interpretation of my Lord? 5. Implications for the Trinity. Psalm 110:1 provides a clear hint of plurality within the Godhead. Two divine figures. Yahweh speaks to my Lord, indicating a distinction yet unity within the Godhead. Connection to the Trinity. The Father exalts the Son to his right hand, and the Spirit empowers the Son's mission. John 16:13-15. Challenge. If skeptics reject the Trinity, how do they explain the relationship between Yahweh and my Lord in this passage? 6. Why this matters understanding. Psalm 110:1 deepens our comprehension of Jesus' identity and his role in God's redemptive plan. Jesus as Messiah. This psalm affirms Jesus as the promised Messiah ruling at God's right hand. Divine authority. It underscores Jesus' divine authority and eternal reign. Faith and worship. Recognizing Jesus as my Lord calls us to trust and worship him. Challenge. If skeptics deny Jesus' divinity, How do they explain his fulfillment of Psalm 110:1 in both authority and role? Call to action. What do you think about Psalm 110:1? Who is David's Lord, and how does this verse connect to Jesus Christ? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more Bible-based insights and challenges to skeptics.